This morning from the Springer Mountain Farms kitchen, we are creating a delicious cauliflower steak along with some chicken. Here to show us how it's done is Hardin Cowan. Good morning, Hardin.
Well, good morning.
Thanks for joining us. All right, so you're with the Solarium Cafe and the Dwell Hotel. Tell us a little bit about your background.
Classically trained chef. I did majority of my studies in New York City. My school was the French Culinary Institute, nowadays known as the ICC. Came back to my native hometown of Chattanooga, I guess it was 5 years ago, to pursue the job at that time was the Stone Fort Inn, has since turned into the Dwell Hotel.
All right, well, we are glad to have you back, and I am definitely ready to dive into this dish. Cauliflower is one of those foods that you've seen popping up across menus, and I personally love it. So show us how it's done and tell us what a cauliflower steak is.
As chefs, responsibly, that we're trying to create more food that is full of flavor, but maybe doesn't have quite the cream or the heaviness that some of the food might have in a prior generation.
Now, while you're cutting this, I want to ask, I think people tend to try to want to cut it like a head of broccoli. What's the key?
Well, the idea here with the steak is that I'm trying to hold that stem together, so when I go to sear it, it has the full body, so this becomes presentation at the end.
Perfect.
But just because I am cutting off these pieces doesn't mean that they're waste. That over in this pot, we're going to be boiling this up. That at the end, I'm going to be making this creamy sauce to be the base for my orzoto.
So you're going to use everything. So you keep your big pieces and the small ones go in the boiling water.
Exactly.
All right. What's next?
So after that would be done, we would blanch the cauliflower in the same pan and cool it down in an ice bath, which would render out a product somewhere around here.
So you threw that into the boiling water as well?
Yes, I did.
Okay. And of course, TV magic.
All right, so for our next part, we're breaking out.
And let me know what I can do to help you.
So one of the items we like to buy, and of course we bought through many local purveyors over time, Possum Bottom Farms in just out of Georgia. Chef, the gentleman down there does dried mushrooms part of the time, which we grind those up in the restaurant. You don't have to have anything quite nearly as grand in your home kitchen. That a lot of times the local markets also sell mushroom dust.
Perfect.
So this is a shiitake mushroom dust that I'm going to pat my cauliflower in. And so in this black pan in the front, I'm going to bring it up to a high cook.
You got a little oil in there, right?
Yes, I do. Which I'm doing this part with canola, simply so it doesn't leave a heavy residue of flavor. A lot of times, if you try to smoke olive oil, it leaves a bad flavor.
So we're going to coat all sides with the mushroom dust.
Just the two sear sides.
All right.
Because the heat of the oil is going to change the flavor of the mushroom. All right, and so somewhere about where the oil starts to really get heated up, I'm going to add in my cauliflower.
All right, so how long on each side do we need to sear these for?
Until golden brown. All right, so for this next part, I am going to be using olive oil and my second saute. And we're going to be blooming out a little bit of garlic.
And so what are we making in here?
This is going to be our orzoto. So orzo is very much a rice-like grain, or a rice-like pasta. That it kind of started a couple of years ago. That I love risotto, but risotto has there's kind of like that small window where either it's undercooked, or it's overcooked. Otherwise, a lot of times it's difficult for a lot of folks to, including some of the people I've worked with over time, to get exactly right. It's almost like this fake risotto.
So you still get kind of the texture and the flavor, too, so to speak, but it's a little bit easier to manipulate.
Exactly.
So we're throwing some peas in?
Some peas and some sun-dried tomatoes.
Oh, yum. See, I can never do that flip. I try at home and I can't get the flip down.
It's muscle memory.
And so you're putting your cauliflower puree in there.
Exactly.
All right. That looks really wild. It smells good. I wish you guys could smell. I'm ready for them to create smell-o-vision.
I'm going to take my cauliflower, I'm going to move it to the oven.
All right, so once that's warmed up, is that going to be our base layer?
Yes, it is.
All right, that sounds good. I wish you guys could smell this.
And we're going to lay that as a single line in the bottom of the plates.
Cauliflower's going to come out of the oven. I like how this does have that hearty dish feel to it with the mixture of the orzo, with the cauliflower steak, and then you're even throwing the chicken on top of it. But really, the chicken's not a necessary item if someone's trying not to eat meat or if they're wanting it to have an extra protein pack.
Very much the idea. We subscribe to that at the hotel as well, that this is the base plate, but if you want chicken added to the dish, hey, that's no problem too. So on the very base layer, the base of the dish, this is it. Now for the restaurant, I would add an extra couple little items.
Gonna make it look pretty.
Make
right?
it look pretty. I fried some basil, changing the texture. Which, if you feel like you want some cheese, I'm not opposed to it too. I'd recommend a salty, hard aged cheese.
All right, so tell us what hours and how to get in touch with you over at the Dwell Hotel.
At the Dwell Hotel, we are an all-day restaurant. We start cooking at 7 o'clock in the morning, and we wrap up the kitchen at 11 o'clock at night, but our bar, Matilda Midnight, goes all the way till 12 o'clock.
All right, good to know. Hardin, thanks for joining us. I'm going to let you finish plating up that chicken. Again, this was a great cauliflower steak that we created for you this morning in the Springer Mountain Farms kitchen. You can contact Hardin with the information there on your screen and stop by and try another one of his great meals. Thanks for joining us. I can't wait to dig in. That smells great.